Do not disturb. Howdy, I'm Dr. Alejandro.
And I'm Dr. Emily.
And as many of you know, we have 3 clinics on our first 3 years in practice.
If you enjoy our content, make sure you subscribe and share with your colleagues and future colleagues to get on the path to victory.
As many of you know, we learned in 2024 to work on the business instead of in the business. That's something we were not doing. But what happened? If you're working on the business, you could get distracted pretty quick. Because you're not with patients, you're just with the computer, with the phone, you get distracted, start scrolling, social media, phone calls. So something we recommend, and that's my new goal for 2025, is basically use the phone less. That's my only goal. People ask me, what's your goal for 2025? It's just use the phone less. You know, like if you live a lifestyle with consistency and you make everything a lifestyle, like you don't need to make new goals or New Year's resolution. I'm pretty bad with my phone, so I want to do better on that, like using it less. And with that, it comes to not disturb. If you get a text message and you literally like leave everything behind to look at that text message, that person that texts you is dictating your schedule. And that is something that I hate. If someone is dictating me what to do or when to do it, I hate that. Okay, so I didn't look at it until I heard Dan Martell said that. I'm like, oh crap, a lot of people are literally dictating my schedule, because if I get a text message, I want to answer as soon as possible. It's like, no, I'm going to put it in not disturb, and I'm going to put selective times to look into the phone. Yep. You know, if you have an emergency, there's nothing I can do. Just call 911, you know, and if someone died, it doesn't make a difference if I know about it now or if I know about it in 2 hours. Because if I'm on the zone working and someone texts me, hey, this guy died, you know, work has to be on the side. I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to focus on this that happened, and I cannot work the whole day. Right. But if I'm working, I finish working, and then I look at the phone, oh, someone died. Oh, crap, you know, like I'm done with today. I'm done with work. Let me focus on this. But there's nothing you could do before. Right. If you notice it on the moment, like, oh, someone died, there's nothing you can do at the moment. You know, it's kind of sad, you know, and it sounds like I don't have a heart, but it's sad, honestly. But there's nothing you can do at the end of the day at that time. It doesn't matter if you know about it now or if you know about it later. It's going to be the same feeling. The only thing is that you can finish what you were doing, or you're not going to finish what you were doing.
Mm-hmm. You already, you've been doing a good job of this so far. You already started implementing this in December when we were closed for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, which could have been a day where we're just like sitting around scrolling, whatever, hanging out. But I noticed like your phone would just be on a counter or in the bedroom, like away from you. And I would say, hey, what are we going to do for lunch? Or like, what are we going to do here? Can you look this up? And you're like, oh, I don't have my phone. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, let's just put it away for a little bit and just reconnect and be present. And I felt during the Christmas break in particular, we had such a good time with Luca and just such a good time as a family. And I think part of that was just because we were just so present. We weren't focused on all of the, you know, current events of the world or the news or what's going on in business life or who's doing what where. We were just like, hey, let's just forget about that and let's just focus on each other. And it sounds like such a cliche concept, but really when you're on that do not disturb mode, like there's a mindset shift that actually goes in with that. Like you are focused, you're focusing on one thing at a time. There's that book that I read that I shared with you. It's called The One Thing. And it's how do you focus just on one thing at a time versus being so cluttered in your mind. And we can apply this to business now, going back into it. When you are in flow and you're seeing patients and you're doing new patient consults and you're doing exams and you're adjusting, that's the only thing you're focused on. And how good are we when we're just in that state?
Correct.
But if you're in between patients and checking your phone and scrolling and looking at this email and whatnot, we've talked about this, your energy is scattered. Like your mindset is scattered. How can you go back and be present with the patient when you just got news about something else going on, or, you know, you got to pay this credit card here? How can we focus on one thing at a time so that we're in that do not disturb mindset and we can just be so much more present and so much better and achieve that unconscious competence?
No, yeah, and it's unfair for the patient. If you see a message that you don't like and all of a sudden you open the door and there's a patient laying on the table ready for you, it's super unfair that you're not on the correct mindset for that. And that is what we tell our staff. We don't want you on the phone because we don't want you on the phone. You know, when you're a kid and someone tells you, don't touch that. Well, why can I not touch it? Because I say so. No, dude, that's not an explanation. You know, so we tell our staff, it's like, don't use the phone because you're not going to be on the correct mindset. If you need to use the phone, get out of the office, look at it, recover yourself again, and then come back. But if you're looking at it between patients, you're not going to be yourself, and it's unfair for that person.
And you brought up a good point there, like bringing yourself out of the environment or changing your environment. So like if we go to work on the office or on the business, typically we get out of the office or out of our house. We go to a coffee shop or we go to a library or something just where we're super focused. And that's kind of getting us into that do not disturb mode. Like as soon as I get my coffee and I sit down with my laptop, I'm on do not disturb and I'm focused on working on the business. I can't be scrolling or, my attention can't be divided here or there, but it's getting yourself to a new environment too of being in that do not disturb mode.
Yeah. So think as yourself as a hotel room. Every time you get to that hotel room, you're going to put do not disturb. Just think of business like that as well. If you start working, just put the phone on do not disturb. If you're with your family, put on do not disturb. If it's an emergency, someone could call 911 or you're going to know what happened a couple minutes or hours later. So if you have any question, you can reach out and don't forget to join Path to Victory in Facebook.